"Get out of my kitchen!" Sarah shouted, her voice sharp and cold, echoing through the walls that once held warmth and laughter. "This is my house now." Margaret stood frozen, her trembling hands still holding the cup she had just washed. Her eyes slowly moved toward her son, Daniel, just hoping for a sign that he would step in, that he would remember who she was. But instead, he clapped, a slow, careless applause. "Finally," Daniel said with a smirk. Someone had to say it. Something inside Margaret cracked. This was the same kitchen where she had spent years cooking Daniel's favorite meals. The same hands that now shook had once held him when he cried as a child. She had sacrificed everything, her dreams, her comfort, even her health to give him a better life. And now, she was being told to leave. I was just making tea," Margaret whispered, her voice barely audible. "Well, don't," Sarah snapped. "You're always interfering. I don't want you touching anything here." Margaret looked around slowly. The curtains she had chosen, the table she had saved months to buy, the small crack in the wall she had learned to ignore, it was all hers once. Now it felt like she was a stranger in her own home. "I thought this would always be my home," she said softly. Daniel rolled his eyes. "Times change, Mom. You should too." The word mom sounded empty, hollow. Margaret placed the cup down carefully, as if even that small noise might cause more anger. Her heart felt unbearably heavy, but she refused to cry, not in front of them. "All right," she said, after a long pause. "I'll go." For a moment, there was silence. Even Sarah looked slightly surprised at how easily she agreed. But Margaret had learned something in that moment: when respect is gone, staying only breaks you more. She walked slowly to her room. Each step felt like a memory fading away. She packed only what she needed: a few clothes, an old photograph of Daniel as a child, and the keys she no longer felt belonged to her. As she stepped out of the house, she turned back once. Daniel didn't look at her. Sarah was already on her phone. No one stopped her. The door closed behind her with a quiet click, but to Margaret, it sounded like the end of a lifetime. Outside, the air was cool. She wrapped her shawl tightly around herself and sat on the small bench near the gate. For the first time in years, she felt completely alone. But then, something unexpected happened. A neighbor, Mrs. Wilson, who had often exchanged smiles with Margaret, noticed her sitting there with a bag. "Margaret, are you all right?" she asked gently. Margaret hesitated, then shook her head. Mrs. Wilson didn't ask more. She simply held her hand and said, "Come with me. You don't have to sit here alone." And for the first time that evening, Margaret's eyes filled with tears, not from pain, but from kindness. Sometimes, the people we give everything to forget our worth. But somewhere in this world, there is always someone who sees it.